evening, everybody. Welcome to Damage Does D&D. We are back with the investigators, having, well, a wonderful time in the mountains. DM Martin, take it away.
Within the mountain. So, last time, short recap really, but you guys had found your way, had slept a night in the cellar of a giant's tavern, and then in the morning been smuggled via cart into the chamber of Jakoto. And she offered a fight to you guys. Stay within the marked area as you wish. If you choose to leave, you are out of the fight, which Imarius took the first opportunity to do, disguising it well as being accidentally knocked out, though. The rest of you continue to fight, and Jakoto sort of danced around and struck, and there was a lot of back and forth, and then struck the moment when all three of the girls went down in pretty quick succession: Bernia, Sasha, and Salviel. And Jakoto turned to look at the rest of you expectantly. Is that it? There were some angry words from Mazdak and some loss of composure from Jakoto before Mazdak launched into a speech that really took her off guard and actually got her to back down and agree to talk with you, which is where we pick up now. So as Jakoto, I'm just going to load up roll 20 just for the visuals. We won't really need it, but so as Jakoto sheathes her swords and steps to one side to address you lot. Is there anything anyone is doing or saying before we get to Jakoto talking?
I don't think so. I think Mazdak's just sort of a little bit shocked he's still alive.
Rage.
But he's still quite full of anger.
I'm just looking over everybody, making sure nobody's severely injured or going to...
Yeah, I'll be doing that if anybody needs any healing. I've got some spell slots, so...
Yeah, I'm going to be lying on the ground, just, recovering. I know Kral's healed me and all that, but, still.
Yeah, so Kral's basically sat on the floor at the moment with his tree trunk like legs either side of Salvia, with her head on one of his legs, just making sure she's okay.
Cozy.
Is anybody's HP particularly low? I obviously can't.
Like
And injured. And injured.
I have 7 HP.
Okay then.
That's
I
very
will.
low for a
I will.
Mazdak.
I'm below,
almost half a
I'm
Mazdak.
below half a Mazdak.
Yes. Okay, so second level cure wounds on you then.
Not sure you'll need that much, but okay. It's only going to go up to 17.
Oh
so,
yeah, you only go up to 17, don't you? So
yeah.
technically, okay, I'll do first level.
Yeah, first level was... See, I'm easy to heal. Should be frontline.
You're not going to knock yourself out this time, Finny.
No. 9 points back.
9 points back.
So you're literally almost.
Well, actually, when I rolled my hit point and it went up, it put my current up by 1 as well. So I'm not sure it should have done that, but I will take 1 off.
Yeah, I suppose we don't normally level up outside of a long rest, so
Yeah,
don't really know, but
That is good to know though, that I can just do all first level cure wounds, and you will, if I roll maximum, you're pretty much at full health.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's why we have the Mazdak. A nice, convenient unit of measure.
There you go. 1 point off full, thanks to the superior healing of our cleric.
I've got a Mazdak and
I'm
a half.
currently on 2 Mazdaks.
That's
I
perfect.
currently require 2
That's
Mazdaks.
low for Sasha.
That's plenty. I've only got one Mastak, and I'm still alive.
It's less than half, so.
Got about a Mazdak and a half.
So, as you all sort of, I don't know, come together, help pick each other up, give little bits of healing, make sure everyone's okay. Jakoto just sort of stands with her back to you, sword sheathed, waiting for the sort of moving around to stop. And then she turns around and says, "So, I will tell you a little story about me. This will give you some information that you need, and hopefully some thought on how you proceed. When I was born, it was into a simple bugbear village. The only thing of note in my village was a great sword maker, and this man taught me honor and respect," as she looks slightly guiltily towards Salvio. And it wasn't until... Sorry.
I was just going to say, I idly stroke the hole that's left in my armor.
We'll fix that, don't worry.
Until we leave here. Don't want to make her feel guilty.
And once
Sorry.
this man, I do not remember his name, but once he had taught me the mental attributes needed to be a great swordsman, is when he finally taught me how to wield a sword. And then a war came, and I was chosen to help fight, which I did with great success. And once it was apparent that my village could not be taken quite so easily, the war sort of petered out. They just stopped coming. There was no reason for them to keep losing people to my blades. But this sent word around of a great swordswoman, swordsperson, let's say. And about a year later, a man came to see me, a human male came to see me. He had heard these stories of my prowess in battle and wanted to hire me to help him fight another war. I missed the fighting. I sought adventure, so I agreed. I was young and wanted to go with him and to keep learning new skills to become a better fighter. There's only so much you can learn in one place. And so we traveled, we walked, we ride horses, we sailed the sea until we get to another place where we begin a new fight. And this fight also went my way. I helped to lead an army, and I killed many people, and apparently I became a legend. I just strolled into the battlefield and win. It wasn't that easy, but that's how people see it from the outside. And so the man that recruited me asked me to actually join his army in full. He was not associated with a single country or anything. He ran a private army, and he would be hired to go into places and fix fix problems, finish wars, and he saw me as somebody who could help him do that. So I became his general. And over a few decades, him and me, we put down many skirmishes, we fought many wars, we became contacts to most of the rulers of the different countries, and eventually these people came to fear us because we could win any fight. One side would hire us, the other would immediately forfeit because they knew they couldn't win. And ultimately, this led to many believing that he and I actually ruled the world. Because when you have such power, when not even countries can stand against you, we basically did, I suppose. So... And the fighting kind of stopped, really. I suppose we were too successful in fighting that nobody wanted to hire us anymore. And when people did, the other side didn't want to fight. It was unfair. And so then we grew bored. And I turned inward and I looked to improve my own skills as a swordsperson. And I sought out new masters and learned different skills, but my friend sought information of a different kind. He looked into the arcane. Now, magic back then was not what magic is now. I'm not even sure if people called themselves wizards back then. They were just arcanists or something. They were the ones creating spells, simple things like controlling fire that people take advantage of now. This was fresh back then. So my friend, he looked to finding some power in the arcane, and he did. And he wanted to learn how to wield power, and at one point he said, wield power like that of the gods, is how he put it to me once. And him and I didn't speak for very long. It was a long time before we spoke again. When we eventually spoke again, he told me he had learned of other planes of existence, which, again, we kind of know now, but back then this was new. We did not know of this. So, yes, he had seen through the fabric of reality, and he had seen these other realms, and he wanted to conquer them all. He wanted me to go with him, but I said I did not want to do that. So he left, and he found other friends, and him and these other friends looked at how to do this, how to go to these other planes, and how to conquer. I presume these other friends were other arcanists that he had sort of come to know through seeking out knowledge on these things. But yes, one night, Vastro shows up to my door, I presume you had figured out this man was Vastro? Looks at faces. Don't know, maybe. He tells me he has found a way to ultimate power, that which no mortal has ever experienced before, yada, whatever. But he wanted me to go with him. I said no. He understood, but he said he'd look after me. After that, the world ended. Well, not completely, but terrible things happened. And the oceans, they froze and the air boiled. A few pockets of life survived, those fortunate enough to have supplies and the fortitude to survive on the ground for a few months. Another group that survived were these arcanists. Those that had managed to protect themselves magically through this cataclysm. And it was mostly those people who, once things started picking up again, it was that group of people that founded Kantisha. But once everything settled down, I was visited in a dream by Vastro. He had never spoken to me like this before. I didn't know he could. But he spoke to me, told me how him and his friends had found their way to the realm of the gods. They live in their own realm. And he and his friends, they were empowered just by being there. This is the place where the source of all arcane power exists, and it just sort of trickles down into other realms of existence. And that is how some people are able to use magic. It is just the power of the gods seeping through the different barriers of existence. So Vastro and his friends said they wanted to live in the realm of the gods with the gods themselves and learn of their power, but they didn't. That didn't go well. The old gods refused and tried to kill them, but they were not warriors like Vastro and his friends. They had to fight to get what they had, but the old gods, they did not know how to fight. And the fight ended with the old gods being shackled and bound to servitude of the new gods. Vastro said that the old gods could not be destroyed, as the material plane is a manifestation of that power. The gods of water, mountains, air, time, light, dreams, fire, they all must remain for those things to exist in our realm. So they could not be killed. As a gesture of Vastro, his gratitude for my loyalty over the last 35 years, he granted me immortality. And so I vowed myself to him again. And I became Jakoto, general on the material plane, to Vastro, the god of death. And that is how Vastro and the other gods came to power, by subjugating the old gods.
Right. DM question. Have I read anything about that? About the is it any of it even briefly mentioned in the sort of founding of Kantisha type lore and history books?
Similar question from Thaddeus as well.
Thaddeus, I'll say no. Mazdak, however, at one point in the restricted section of the Library of Kantisha read something about the old gods.
Right.
This was like episode 4
Yeah.
or something. It was,
I remember vaguely reading something about that.
but it was very vague. It said nothing of specifics. It just mentioned the existence, the possible existence of previous gods.
So, what you're saying is, back before this cataclysmic event, the elemental gods, which is probably a too loose a term for gods, beings of power, the controlling the flow of essence, magical essence into the material plane. You and your friend Vastro, he sought to become a god along with his friends, and now they are the pantheon that we now see in the
Yes.
world.
Yes.
But they're scared of whatever it is that's trying to get into this world. So, if they have access to all of this power, and presumably they're all friends still, or at least, very least, they know each other very well. I mean, they've been up there or over there for thousands of years. It begs the question, why are they scared of this entity that is trying to get into the universe? Perhaps it will undo what they've done.
Perhaps.
So, follow-up question. If, as we heard, rumours, that you were, how can I put this delicately, a little tired of being immortal, if you were to help resolve this conflict, help us to prevent this thing from gaining entry to our world, then they would owe you a favour, would they not? And perhaps Vastro could be persuaded to grant you your desire.
That is one thought. The other side of that coin is, if I let the world end and the new gods are destroyed, I can die then.
That is a point of view, yes, but ultimately it's quite selfish.
Is yet
Letting
more
all of these other
complicated.
people die so that you can die. Why not
I
save
know.
all those other people from dying so that you can die? I think the option of assisting the world would A, annoy Vastro, and B, it would pressure him into giving you what you want. And C, obviously you'd be saving the world. You said you used to run the world because you were the best. So
Yes,
why
I never
not,
get that sort of power.
why not use your power to help the world rather than bloodshed? Why not assist? Why not help?
I think from Vastral's point of view, let's say once when he was human, he declared his love for me, but that was never something I was interested in. And he hoped that by giving me immortality one day I would see Kiel. But that was never for me. But having given me immortality, he cannot just take it away and let me die. Normal mortals get to pass into his realm of death after they die on the mortal plane, but that cannot be true for me. If I am to die, it is Vastro has to destroy my soul completely. And I don't think he will do that. But you do make a point that it is better to
It would be
live
a note.
honorably than to let everyone die and myself die dishonorably.
It would also be of note that we had a faithful of Astro travel with us, but he was turned from our goal. Vastro seems to have turned against the other gods in what he is doing, which is at least what I have been told by Nagale.
I never met Vastro's friends, the other gods, but from what I know of the followers of them, some of them are more trustworthy and honorable than others. So, Vastro liked the idea of honor, but would let it slide if it got in his way. So it does not surprise me that he has changed his mind on helping you.
I have a theory.
Is there any? Sorry,
go
is
ahead.
there any reaction or any kind of any kind of reaction to me mentioning Nagale, or does she seem nonplussed? And
No, it doesn't seem to. And she just said she'd never met any of the other gods.
So, before Vastro and his friends bound the old gods and set themselves up as overlords of us, they were mortal.
Yes.
And you were mortal. And people
Yes.
died back then, correct?
Yes.
So, if Vastro was no longer the self-proclaimed god of death, people would still die. You
Yes.
would still die. He
Yes,
would
if
not have to
Vastro...
take your soul and destroy it if he was no longer the god of death.
Correct.
And in fact, what if, and this is just a theory, obviously, because theories are interesting talking points. We can get to where we want to be when we discuss them, and feel free for anybody else and also sort of like to be able to jump in. What if there were no self-proclaimed gods and we released the original gods back to where they should be? Would that not make for a more pleasant world? A more...
Who has charged us with her current mission? I'm not sure that would be acceptable.
We may be in a worse position than we were before. If you think about how long these gods have been in bondage and imprisoned, they may not be all there.
That is
Who's
true.
to say that it is not them that is trying to break through?
that is us not.
Indeed.
And I would say that if those old gods could have been usurped, then I would feel more safe knowing that stronger gods had taken their place and guided our
The point
lives.
is, they were not gods. They were mortal people.
And yet they are now.
Indeed.
Mortal people empowered by the realm of the gods.
Exactly. Take them out of that realm, they become
Mazdek,
powerful people, but still people.
I put an
The
example
realm,
to you.
The realm of the gods should, in my opinion, which is right because I'm Mazdak, should be reserved for the beings of power that push the power to all of the other realms. It should not be ruled by a self-imposed or self-created gods. This is all kinds of wrong. And I just sort of look around at all of these god
And
botherers.
will
and
you
just...
go back? Will you go back to the history books and restore every country back to its original owners and its original people? Will you
No.
right all of the wrongs of the world and everything that has been taken from another person?
I think you're missing the point somewhat.
Who's to say
No.
that the old gods were there first?
Well, quite, but who's to say that they weren't? And who's to say that we could have a conversation with them? When Jakoto told us that Vastra went with his other friends, who we now know to be these mortal people, and they couldn't kill the older gods, but they imprisoned them, because the older gods weren't fighters. So that implies a more benign power distribution than the current panoply of what we have now.
I look to Jakoto as Mazdak is speaking and say, during that apocalypse where barely any survived, did many turn to the older gods? Did they receive their protection?
No, people did not used to worship like that. They did not seek protection from the old gods. They just lived in the world that was given to them. The new god stepped in and pushed their ideologies onto the people of this plane.
I mean, it's my understanding that these gods, the more people that worship them, the more power they get. So, if
Basically,
this current crisis removes us from this world, it removes the greatest source of their power, which I again come back to what I've said to you before. None of the gods are altruistic. None of them have good intentions. They are using us to preserve their own power. But I'm willing to be used in this way because I'm not willing to let thousands upon thousands of people die just for my pride.
Well, that's a very good point, actually. All of the gods, no matter how well intentioned some of them may be, and I'll just sort of look across at Bernia and Salviel. No matter how well intentioned they did go with the original intention of grabbing power. No matter if they were led by Vastro, or we don't really know the specifics, but the point is, they are using everybody, as Kral says. And I, for one, don't want to be used by them, but I can see... I also don't want thousands of millions of people to die. This is not what I want to happen. But what I'm saying is, if we can stop whatever's trying to come in and somehow persuade the gods to... Well, I don't really like calling them gods. Vastro and friends. That sounds like a children's book, but never mind. Vastro and friends do vacate the plane of the gods so that the original elementalist style gods can go back to doing what they were doing, which, by all accounts, didn't affect people on Earth in an adverse way.
Just want to check something, DM. Are we, as a party, aware or suspicious that Imarius came from the future? Did we figure that one out? I'm trying to remember, or if that's more player knowledge.
Yes. I think he told us, because we worked out for the mechanical things.
Yeah.
I'm going to look over to Imarius. In your time, Imarius, were there gods? were the ones that people prayed to and were protected by?
DM.
Oh, this comes back to me, doesn't it?
Let me refer you to my boss.
No gods in your time.
No. We don't have any need of them.
A DM question as well. Sorry.
I think that informs my decision on whether I would rather a world with or without gods, having seen what came from that future.
Me?
With the machines and other things.
I see what you mean.
This is a long shot.
Oh, here we go.
But
It's fitting.
yeah, and I've been sat here, I've been listening, and I've been taking it in. But are there any stories, fables or otherwise, like old wives' tales, what have been passed through the thousands of years since Vastro? Now we know, obviously, he became a god. Of the old gods, of any of them that are potentially crazy, have basically gone gaga because of their imprisonment.
I mean, I mean, I don't even think you would have known, but the old gods are just not something that people know of. That information got purged. There was one reference in a book that Mazdak read at one point in a restricted section. But yeah, this is new information, so I don't think you'd know anything about particular personalities.
So Chakotay just told us about these were old elemental gods who sort of controlled time and things like that, and held these things in constant. So drawing on that, Kral would, considering.
Oh no. It's hat time.
Think that any of this could be related to injury or the attempt.
Can you start that again, please, Ash?
Yeah. So Chakotay's told us that the old gods were more elemental in nature, dealing with the material plane itself, dealing with time, constancy, and things like this. So drawing on that, and knowing that we're dealing with.
Oh no. Again.
So drawing on what Chakotay.
No. Just don't speak,
we're
Ash,
back.
because it's just every time you mention Dakota.
Okay.
The universe is trying to tell us something.
Old
Yeah,
god.
the gods are actually kissing us to their pushing through.
Old god, time, temporal issues. Kral's going to say do you think that these temporal issues could have anything to do with either this old god of time trying to escape or being injured?
I mean, it could be, of course.
I have not experienced any of these temporal issues down here, but
No, but they are widespread.
okay. That sounds like a good line of thinking, if you ask me.
And just as a sort of, I have sent you a message, DM, but I'm just going to
Yes.
puff my quill into existence, open my book, and just make a note. Oh no.
That
Again.
Kral, was that?
Again.
We're back.
Oh, Ash has disappeared.
Ha
Worth moving. Was that
Yeah.
Kral asking a question, or is that?
Yeah.
That was Kral asking, and as an outwardly, so we all heard it, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
Mazdak
yeah.
did answer.
Mazdak responded. And he was directing the question directly at Chakotay and Mazdak, because they're the two people in the room that would probably follow his line of thinking at this point.
It is actually an excellent thought, and one I think we have to do something about, because this is just the god of time, perhaps.
I think the god of time's interfering with the game.
Indeed, this is just the god of time being injured or near death or escaped. What if?
We believe it is a white hole.
I would potentially have like a 5-minute let's not talk game wise, because just to see if it stabilizes itself, because this is fucking going in and out like crazy.
That's what
Every
she
time I try and talk, it goes.
Yeah.
So what I was trying to get to as Mazdak was, if this is the god of time that is doing this, and it's not proven, but it is a good theory. What if one of the other gods suddenly lets loose? What if the god of air decides to take all of the air out of the material plane?
And these are the gods you want to restore to power.
No, these are the gods I want to understand. Because
We'd be
for
looking
for
at the
for
characters.
however long, none of that actually happened. Everybody was living their normal lives, and the outlier, the strange anomaly here, is Vastro and his friends. They have caused this.
What if they? Well, yes, potentially, but what if they were also saving the world from these gods as well? Though we don't know the story,
they?
we know nothing about them. I
They
don't know.
went-
But what if the
They
other
went
gods
to
went
the realm
crazy?
of the
But-
gods after an apocalypse.
No, they did not.
No, the
That's what they
apocalypse happened because they went
But
to the
they-
realm.
I see.
They caused the apocalypse by fighting these other gods, is what I'm getting. But what we should be very careful about here is, if perhaps Vastro and friends have found a way of killing. Oh God, no. And we're all back again. Oh, good. I like that, Dan. That's excellent. Right. Okay. This is going
Oh
very
my
silly now,
god,
isn't it?
Discord, chill.
Shall we good?
No. Right, Discord, just behave. Stop it.
The voice in Discord.
So,
It needs some lubrication. It's sticking.
yeah. I can't remember where I got to now. Basically, what I was trying to say was that perhaps is this these time rifts, is this a consequence of Vastro and friends having found a way to actually damage these old gods?
Or have they damaged them by accident?
Yes. I think what we need to do is nice hat. I think what we need to do is have a little break for 10 minutes, because otherwise this is just we're all going to get really frustrated. Yeah. So I think that's what we'll do. If that's okay with you, DM, we'll have a little 10-minute break, grab a drink, and we'll be right back. and welcome back. Hopefully, Discord have got their act together now, and we can actually play the game. Okay, so let's try that then. Awesome.
So,
okay.
yeah, you guys were discussing whether or not to leave things as they are,
Yes.
destroy some gods, usurp the gods. Maybe that one hasn't come up, but it might.
See, I think we at least we need to talk to these people. We at least need to talk. We need to find out more information. If this is the old god of time affecting the world, we need to find out why this has suddenly started. Is it because he is, or she is, or they are injured? Have the new gods, or, well, not gods, have Vastra and friends damaged the god of time in some way? Has the god of time actually escaped and is actively...
I thought we had pinpointed the cause of the rifts to have been Severil's doing.
Well,
What
that's-
Severil had created
Yes,
caused it.
but if that is true, which we investigated and found to be the case, this has allowed a... Is this the god of time? This is what we need to find out. As if it is, how do we stop it? If it isn't, then perhaps we need to investigate the god of time to see if they can change it.
It's all this new information is quite overwhelming, really. But I've always found it, since being with you guys, that a neutral god who is really no longer sitting on the fence with me being in your party, something is definitely wrong. I would like to find out as much as you, Mazdak. It's quite intriguing to see what happened, what's going on. But these time rifts you talk about, you've seen them, I think, more than I have, and been closer to them as well.
Yes.
Do they leave anything behind apart from like this time energy remnants?
Yes.
Has there been?
Yes. It brought through people from the past, giant lizard-like creatures from the past. It brought
automatons from the future.
Emarius from the future. It brought mechanical creatures from the future.
It brought swampland through.
It
as
did.
well.
I mean, it turned a city
It
into
brought
No,
death.
yeah.
It brought death and ruin.
So yes.
So, how far from the future are you, Amarius?
I think
They
it
did
was
tell us.
350 years. Oh,
Some
wow.
fair amount of time.
Yeah, I'd have to look.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head. 1,000 or 2 years. I think about 1,000 years, maybe.
Let me think on that. I will get back to you, Thaddeus. While I scroll up through my
Character
Chat with
description. Okay, so swampland. What swampland?
What do you mean? What's swampland? An area in Omnia, in Onan itself,
The city.
was torn away and replaced by swampland.
Well, the ground was turned into swampland. The buildings remained as they were.
Overgrown by...
I haven't been there, have I,
trees.
DM?
No.
Yeah, so I am right. Sorry, the way Nat said that as if to say, "You fucking idiot! Why don't you
Yeah.
know this?" But
Yeah,
like,
that's just a
You
section.
must still have heard of it. It's the capital
That's just-
of the Asimar.
well, yeah.
I remember. The year I left was 1165. I don't know what I can't remember what year it is now.
So it's now a swampland then.
Yes.
I've never been there.
Parts
So.
of it.
And what year is it now, DM?
It's it's like 75,000 or something.
So obviously there's been a calendar reset. Don't get hung up on
Yes.
the date.
No. It's just
Thanks for
it now makes sense why. Obviously, you said.
If people have started counting the years again, then who
Marius,
knows what could have happened.
And you said that you know gods from the future.
No, we don't need them.
I think that's too much information we should know.
No, there is never such a thing as too much information.
When it becomes down to the future, I think it does, because the more you know, the more you
Absolutely not.
could potentially change.
Are you suggesting we kill him?
Who?
I will look at Sasha and give her the eyebrows.
I'm not suggesting we can. No, Amarius, no. But this now,
Well, to logically
in my
follow
opinion,
your point,
inflicts. This now inflicts what decisions we make. We know that there are no gods, so is that down to us?
Or it's already happened, and anything we do may or may not affect it. I mean,
yes.
bottom line here is we need to stop these temporal issues regardless of what happens. And if we can, well...
I do think we need to find out more about the Jakoto. Apologies, Jakoto.
What?
This is fine. Wrong player, wrong name.
About the god of time.
Yes, we need to find out more about the god of time. We also need to find out more about Vastro and friends. We need to find out any information we can about them before they went to the realm of the gods and usurped
Do
their
we not
power.
have people connected to the gods that could try and find out this information, or are we trying to be discreet?
Do you really think that they're going to give any of us information about what they were before that may or
No,
may
they're
not?
not going to. But there were already.
And do
There
you
was-
think
there
that
was a
they are
book
still
in
the same
the library at
people?
Cantesia, in the restricted access section that I got hold of, that mentioned the old gods.
So it's back to Cantisha then.
I'm not sure we can. I'm not sure that. Yes, I think we do need to go back there, but I think we also need to search out Amarius.
But he's right there. Why do we need to search him out?
No, sorry. Question for Amarius. In your future, in your current time, were there dragons that you know of?
I specifically mentioned that in something I wrote for you, Dan. And do you remember it? Because I don't.
Again,
Call
let
yourself
me
a D.
get back to you as I.
I don't. I think not. I think the dragons were all gone.
Okay. So
No dragons, no
if
gods.
there were no gods, no dragons, and we know for a fact that there are dragons now, yes? So perhaps
Yes.
we need to consult with the dragons. We need to consult with the Mage Council to find out any ancient information that may have escaped this purge that Vastro and friends that they purged this information. So we need to find anything that has escaped this purge. We need to find out who these people were before they went off to challenge the gods. Can you
Well, I
imagine
think
the
maybe-
arrogance of challenging a god?
Mazdak,
Yes.
these gods have lived for Alex Chikato. Thousands of years have been
Millions.
as long as you have. How many times in your life have you changed, Jakoto?
Have I
How many
changed?
Yes. How many times have you learned something new, thought differently about something you have fought?
That is, of course, impossible to answer. Everything is a spectrum. You cannot state how many things are on a spectrum.
I think, Mazdak, you're, despite my own bias, slightly you're not giving the gods enough credit. They may have been subjugators before, but who is to say that they are still?
Well, they are still, because they haven't... Have they reinstated the elemental gods?
If they released
Perhaps
them
they
and
cannot.
tried to live in harmony.
They have not.
I think
Mazdak.
Mazdak is potentially the most unbiased of us all, with having no deity they follow. So his reasoning, from what I understand, is actually quite sound. It's just whether,
It's...
wow,
Oh,
now
hello.
what is going on?
Green screen.
It just depends.
She's gone
what
back
we
in
do.
time.
God of Time is wiping us out one by one.
Jakoto, you
Yes.
said that in your time these material gods were not worshipped, but did they have no influence then on the realm? Were there people impacted by their moods, their capriciousness, storms and earthquakes?
I do not know, really. I mean, people would do a dance and pray for rain, but whether that actually caused anything, sometimes it would, and that would validate the opinion, and sometimes it wouldn't, and then the people would feel that it was their fault. So who's to actually know whether the old gods actually paid any attention at all?
And who is to know what the new gods have learned?
Yeah,
What's
well-
to say that the new gods are not aware of this conversation exactly that we're having right now?
Well,
Well, maybe.
they've
Probably
already.
just see a little, like, bare nose poke its head out of Bunny's bag.
Well, in fairness, they've already proven that they need us to do this. They can't do it themselves. So they can listen in all they like, but let's face
Well, unless
we're
they've
the
got
best
something
chance.
constructive to add to this conversation, they can bugger off. Because, quite frankly, we're doing all the heavy lifting here. For a bunch of people that suppressed and imprisoned beings that were not actually actively harming anyone.
No, I am doing it for someone who saved my life.
That's a very good reason to do something. I, on the other hand,
I'm starting to think that you are short-sighted when it comes to matters of faith, Mazdak.
well, I don't think I'm short-sighted when it comes to matters of faith. I do not have any faith in any god. Your faith is
Then-
blinding you to the possibilities that your god, whilst they may be kind, benign, helpful, have not always been like that. And as
You
some
may-
people have said, they may well have changed. This is fantastic news. Great. But why haven't they released these other beings?
Your arrogance is blinding you that there may be far more information here than any of us are
Well,
aware of.
quite. Absolutely, this is what I'm
Jakoto
saying. We
has
need to go and
only-
find out.
Heard from Bastro. She said herself.
Right. How do we get? I'm going to research. How do we get to the realm of the gods? I'm going to go and ask some questions
Do we bring another apocalypse down upon the world?
by asking a question.
By going to the realm of the gods. Jakoto has told us that's what caused the last apocalypse.
Yes,
No,
but-
it was
The
Vastro and his friends fighting the gods.
you see.
Simply
Well, I
Mazdak.
imagine if Mazdak went to that realm, it wouldn't be long before the fighting began.
Well,
Mazdak, god of questions.
indeed.
DM.
Yes.
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 Because I know the spell banishment,
Mhm.
and I know that if the subject is not from this plane,
Then they stay there, yeah.
then they stay in their original plane. Or have I heard of anyone who may be able to plane walk us, i.e., potentially get to the realm of the gods?
There. Give me a roll. Roll me an Arcana check.
I was about to say my bedroom's too small. I can't quite do that, but
Do a roll. A commando roll.
and Arcana, yeah.
Yes, rolls
Yes.
whilst commando.
No one wants to say
God.
Well, not the Vulcan platform.
It's actually a really good roll. First roll of the night, 26.
Wow. Okay.
Nice.
You certainly are aware of the ability to walk between different planes. There are probably people that you can talk to, even back in Cantisha. The party themselves have said they're on speaking terms with the Mage Council. That would seem like a good place to start. However, even despite such a good role, you've never heard of anyone talk about a realm of the gods as if it's another realm that you could get to, like you can get to the Hells or the Plane of Fire. Those are things that risky people have been to just for doing it, but nobody's even aware of the Plane of the Gods.
Or if there even is one, yeah.
What concerns me, though, is that there are many people in this world that do have faith in these gods that exist now, whether they do good things or not, and to disrupt that could be a catastrophe in itself.
Yes, I would say not that I want to influence anything. It is all your choice, but the way things have been running for the last few thousand years have been pretty smooth. I mean, balanced, of course. So the way things are not bad, but of course I want to see the gods fall because it means I can die.
Just, I have a theory. A different one, don't worry. If Vastro was somehow brought back to this world, he would lose quite a considerable amount of his power.
Probably.
Could you kill him?
Yes.
Okay, so on that...
If... Did you mention banishment out loud? By the way.
No, but I'm now about to.
All right.
So, on that question, DM, with Mazdak saying that, knowing now that Vastro originally...
Yeah, that's
is
exactly
from
where I
Earth.
was going.
If you can get there and banish him,
Back.
does he stay here?
Yes.
Yeah.
You bring up a good point, Mazdak. Because from the information Jakoto has just told us that Vastro is indeed originally human and mortal. He originates from Earth, from here. So if we could meet him somehow in the big grand scheme of things, and if I were potentially powerful enough, I could banish him with a spell which would keep him on his original plane of existence, which would be Earth, here.
As good an idea as that may be, the being that was Vastro the human needs to be thousands of years ago. Even if you could become powerful enough to cast that spell to banish him, what's seen that the power in the realm of the gods hasn't so thoroughly suffused his form that he's part of that realm now?
That's a good point.
But also, we don't
I
know
would like
if
to
it's
change my answer. I don't think I could kill him.
but also, no one actually knows. I mean, we know that there is different planes, the hells, the planes of fire, ice, all of that. But it's never been proven, or no knowledge is known of that there is an actual plane or realm of the gods. So are they even?
Well, I would
That's-
say that we have the best primary source that there is available in Dakota.
If
Gee.
there is anything that I have told you which you did not already know, it may just be because the gods do not want people to know it. So therefore the information gets destroyed.
Quite.
But it seems that not all information is being destroyed. They've missed some. The library in Cantisha.
It's possible that some things remain.
And
Is
didn't you say as well, Group Mastak? I think you said it when we first met. You've befriended an ancient dragon.
Yes, SETI has a restricted access library.
I have a good relationship with SETI.
And SETI did say that one day I could get into that restricted library.
I do think, though, that
And the library as
directions
well.
to the realm of the gods would probably be the first thing to be destroyed.
well,
But, Dakota, do you know how Vastra got there?
originally no. Him and his friends spent a decade learning new magical techniques, and they found a way. I do not know. I do not know magic like that, so no. But
I would also think that if we did try to kill a god, the cataclysm would be 0.2 this time. I think that potentially is why it happened so many thousands of years ago when they took over.
maybe. But the new gods are not inherently tied to the material plane. If somebody could get there and remove them or kill them, I'm not sure it would have such an effect.
No,
If-
because the originators of the material plane, the materials in the material plane, are the original gods, not Vastra
Yes.
and friends.
Yes.
So, I don't think it would necessarily create a cataclysm if the Vastra and friends, one of them were to die, because they're not putting anything in to the material plane. They are only taking belief out for power.
Though, well, I mean, like, some of your friends here clearly are empowered by some of that divine energy. So they do put some in, but if that were to be withdrawn, I don't think it would. It wouldn't kill people.
No.
They would just be left powerless.
Mixing pot idea from Fiddy, but also going into character now as well. So bear with me, guys.
Here we
He
go.
Could
says,
be a good videism.
Here we go.
There's an insight check in our future.
Jakoto, and I don't mean to be insensitive or naive here, but this question does come with a bit of difficulty for me to ask without potentially annoying you somewhat. But being the champion of the god of death,
Puts hand on hilt.
being the champion of the god of death and immortal, do you know what happens when someone dies? Do they go to a specific death plane, or would it just be the plane of the gods?
It is not the plane of the gods. Some are, I believe, through talking with Vastro, there are some that can end up there as continuing their service. Most people go to a different realm. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's there. Vastro is the gatekeeper to that other realm.
I mean, no offense here, Jakoto, but if we were unable to beat such an outstanding warrior such as she, how are we ever going to defeat gods who have been in a realm of the gods for untold number of years?
Well, how did they beat the original gods? There is power in that place you do not understand. And it gets into you when you are there.
Do you have a connection to this underworld, this realm of death, Jakoto?
No.
Because if there is any power struggle going on with these Vastro and friends, as Mazdak says, realm.
If Vastro is the gatekeeper, then I am the delivery driver.
Maybe those realms aren't entirely being kept together at the moment too.
We were also told that Vastro was quite, shall we say, put out by the amount of unsanctified death that was taking place as a result of these temporal anomalies.
Yes, that means there is too much work for him to do, and he likes to relax.
Well, he told our friend he was quite angry that people were dying that weren't meant to die.
Well, I definitely think Antisha is a good start for anything.
I will give you one thing before we leave. Well, I will give you one thing, and I will give the giants another thing. This, and she pulls the amulet of Vastro off of the chain on her neck, and just sort of point it out. Whoever's nearest can take it.
I'll take it, if no one else is speaking it.
Yeah, Mazdak is probably quite close to Vastro. Not Vastro. God, I keep mixing their names up. It's really annoying. Jakoto. But I don't think Mazdak would reach for an amulet of a god.
There was a system set up a long time ago in which the immortals, the chosen of the gods to be given immortality, were also given a piece of the key, and that is mine. If you get the other remaining pieces, that is how you can open the portal to the plane of the gods.
In that case, I would much prefer if Mazdak, either you or Bernier take control of that piece.
So there are 2 more pieces, as there are 3 immortals.
Who are the other 2 immortals?
There is the...
We were told about those.
Yeah.
Renee, Queen of Spiders, and the Dream Lord.
I'm going to change that first one for 2 reasons.
Okay.
Because I come
One,
up and didn't
one
like it.
because it sounds like it's a character from Hello Hello. Oh, Renee.
Renee,
No, you
Queen
just
of
don't like
Bunnies.
it's the Queen of the Bunny Rabbit.
7 of Hunumo.
Yes, the champion of Hunumo and the champion of Istala.
Istala.
Okay, I will...
Before Mazdak takes it, I will snatch the key from whoever's passing it over to him and hand it to Bernier.
You'll have to snatch it very, very goodly then.
Goodly?
Oh yeah.
Goodly. English, me, you can.
You're still on the floor.
I would have stood up by now. I've been sassy.
I think it is best that Mazdak take this,
I
despite
think so too.
our
Someone who-
disagreements.
Someone
Who
who
wants to
has-
usurp the gods and
has-
remove them from
no.
their station has no right in holding a key to their realm.
and
Anybody who
anybody
has
that
faith in
has
a god.
a faith in a god has no right to have that key.
By
I
what
would
logic?
suggest it is fate. It is safer in my care than anyone else's.
I would
Now,
also
as much as
suggest-
I absolutely love and admire Bernia, she is an amazing person. I think that the most neutral person here is me.
Definitely.
I
And
didn't
before
Listen to
ever-
yourself.
I didn't
Several
ever-
times already you have claimed to want to remove the gods from their realm, to kill them, to reinstate the primal gods, and you think this makes you neutral. Bernia's own god, my own god, have rewarded us for our faith. They have improved our lives for the better, and you have nothing but negative things to say against them based on this one story. When you have already said you don't know way have all the details.
Yes,
Or they're using you for their own purposes, which is another way of looking at it.
I put forward these theories so we can have these conversations. If you are so blinded by your rage and cannot open your mind to think about alternative points of view, then that is on you.
I can accept alternative points of view. I cannot accept someone trying to kill my patron.
Did I ever say I was going to kill your patron? I did not.
You have said several times
I
you wanted
put
to remove
forward-
some gods.
I put forward ideas that perhaps that would be one course of action. If
Before I hand it to Mazdak, with it in my possession, and I'm not doing not inciting for any faith check or anything like that, but what kind of feeling do I get from this amulet whilst holding it? If any.
Well, it's not an insight check.
You know the feeling that you get from your own whatever it is, your amulet or whatever you've got.
Yeah.
How it just sort of gives off this sort of warm feeling of energy. The thing that you've been handed is just a multiplicity of that, and it almost feels like it's heavy, like it's dense with that energy, that divine energy.
Wow, okay, so a lot more than what my holy symbol has.
Yeah.
Needed
This-
Alice multipass.
This is
You may not have a god as such, Mazdak, but do you believe that you know everything, which is
no,
almost as
I don't believe
dangerous?
that I know everything. I know a lot because I have
And your
read a
thirst
lot.
for knowledge blinds you.
To what?
I
Exactly?
think we have been prompted a
Consequences
lot.
of finding answers.
That's the whole point of knowledge, is find answers. I don't understand your
I think we
statement.
have all been prompted a lot of questions that we must
Okay.
answer.
If it will make
And I
everybody
think
feel better, then Bernia, by all means, take the amulet.
I think that we should. We will come to a decision on that, but I think we have all been given a lot of questions to seek answers to about a lot of what is happening from what Jakoto has told us. If we shall seek these answers through books and through faith, and the answers we get may decide our path. If the trajectory we are on is not one that Nagale wishes to see, then I am strong in my faith that I would follow her. She has proven to me that she is of kind heart and that she would seek only to benefit our world. You may see differently, Jakoto may see differently, but that is how I see it.
Then we're about to put to the test just how strong these feelings are. And you need to understand that it may cause a war between Vastro and his other friends.
I understand.
Thaddeus grabs Mazdak's hand.
Okay.
I trust you with this, but do be careful. Let us know if it seems to make you feel, well, for lack of a better word, a bit weird at times. It's heavy with divine magic. And I place it into your hand and kind of like do the whole closing of your hand.
Okay. Do I feel?
I think you're
anything
right. Your
weird?
logic is right with you are neutral, as in you follow no deity and have the best logic in mind for this.
Thank you. Do I feel anything strange when I pick up this amulet?
A little bit.
Yeah.
Right, but not too much.
Okay.
Don't know. You two just experience divine energy differently.
That's fair.
I think I was an apt thing to say when I suggested that Mazdak would be considered a god of questions. I think that is what he is trying to get us to do.
But if it comes down to it, and we have to make a choice between the gods and the people of this world, the people have to come first.
Absolutely.
Even if
I
that means leaving the subjugator usurper gods in place.
Well, it may be that is the case. Maybe. We may have to leave them in place. As you yourself said, it has been very smooth up until now. But it may be we have to remove one or more of them.
I find it difficult to believe that these gods, the new ones, would send us on this mission to speak to Jakoto only for them to be to be told we have to usurp them.
I don't think we should
Does-
be usurping anybody.
Consider who sent us, and consider who's turned away from helping. Then ask yourself the question about who wants to help and who doesn't.
The god that had the strongest hand in us coming to speak to Jakoto was Leosol. He sent Salviel to directly intervene.
Perhaps the other gods are not as happy with Vastro as they once were.
This is what I'm saying.
Especially
We
if
need to
Vastro
get
was...
information on all of them.
You say Vastro was their leader, Jakoto?
No, I do not know. I only ever spoke to Vastro, and he described them as his friends. It was not a hierarchy of people, as I understand.
It's very difficult. I'm finding it difficult to stay in Bernia and not just drift into the accent you're doing for Jakoto, and I don't know why. It's really tricky.
So,
I've just had a thought, Mazdak.
hmm,
Would you mind just opening your hand again with that amulet in?
I open my hand and my hand is empty.
Would you mind holding the amulet for me?
Oh, I'll get it out of my pocket.
And I don't know if this is going to work, DM, but I feel like it's the right thing to do, and it's what Thaddeus would do.
Uh-oh.
But
Don't need to qualify. Just tell me what you're doing.
I'm going to... Hang on, let me find it. Why can I never fucking find it? I've always got it there, and then it disappears. It's because it's there. So I'm going to have to cast it at 4th level, because I don't have any 3rd levels left. But I'm going to attempt to cast non-detection on the amulet.
Before you do that, I wanted to cast Identify on it,
Oh, that yeah, definitely do that then. But if
and I will use my Awakened spellbook to change that into a non-ritual, so it only takes
Well-
a minute rather than 11 minutes.
While they're doing this, Carl's going to absentmindedly ask Jakoto where these lava flows end up.
It all loops. It doesn't end up anywhere. It all gets pushed from under the city up through the center of the city, up, which then sort of trickles out and back and down around, and ends up back in this pool of magma under the city before being pushed back up. It is the way that the giants control the heat of the mountain and use that flowing magma for smithing when I allowed it.
Would very much like to meet some of the master smiths in a former life, and I could tell that I angered you with my turn of phrase. It wasn't anything that was meant as an offense. It was just the way that I was brought up, the way that I was spoken. But I apologize.
Well, that is most gracious of you. I appreciate it, and I should be less angered by such things. When I've been alive as long as I have, it is difficult to not see everybody as children to me that I need to teach a lesson.
I can certainly see that.
Yeah.
And I should also firstly apologize to Salviel, I think I heard. It was, as your friend said, most dishonorable of me to have attacked you whilst you were unconscious, and that I apologize for. That
Thank
is
you.
not how I was taught to behave. I have in some ways lost my way, and my sense of honor has always been very important to me. And I should very much like to reclaim that. So, with that, firstly, I will leave the mountain. I have kept these giants hostages for too long, not physically, but they want to be out there. But what would you have me do? Trying to speak to you as not children here. What would you
I
ask?
suppose we need to find the other pieces of this key, the other immortals. Do you know the best place to start?
Mazdak, do you think we could direct Jakoto to the beast?
Oh,
Ben just
yes.
freezes up at that mention.
The very first Time Rift was created by one of the mages, one of the high-ranking wizards, experimenting with spell pearls. He made a giant spell pearl, and it exploded in a way that was completely unexpected. And he himself is now trying to make amends for this. But there is a creature that was ripped through into this world that has, well, Bernia was on the field of battle at that time when this spell pearl was used, and this creature tore through her regiment. I'm sorry, Bernia, to be bringing
I'll
any
just sort of put a
bad
reassuring hand
memories
on her shoulder.
for you. But the point is, that creature is still in our world, is still causing chaos.
We've
So-
slaughtered both an army of Valaya and Sandemia, all dead, save for me.
It was last seen heading towards the mountains where the dwarves reside. Perhaps, as a favour to us, to Salviel, would you perhaps consider tracking it down and killing it? As you are the best.
I could.
Oh no, it's silly hat time again.
I thought there was just a prolonged pause of I could.
There was a bit of a pause. There was a bit of a pause, but I did do something after that. But yeah, it's just I could, and then turns. But is that what you would want?
Assume, yeah. Okay.
Asking Bernia.
Yeah, I presume you're going to say Bernia instead of Salviel. Azdak.
Yeah, I assumed that as well.
Yeah, sorry, yes.
I feel a responsibility to slay it myself. But I do not even know if I would ever be able to. That thing is why I devote myself to Nagale. She's the only reason that I survived.
DM,
Yes.
was I there when this happened? Did I see this beast, as they call it?
You would have heard of it. Yeah. I mean, it did, as you know, rip through an army of your country.
Yep.
A word of that would certainly spread. So yes, you know of it.
From what we learned, it kind of, that battle being such a bloodbath kind of forced the two sides into another phase of peace.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I
Well-
think perhaps you should at least speak with Severil. He is attempting to figure a solution to these rifts that he has caused.
Okay. Well, I will leave the mountain. I've missed the sun, now that I think of it. And I will see what I can do for the world again.
Thank you. It would be good to know that you are working for the people of the world.
Yes, well, don't forget, I may be unable to die, but I'm still only one person with a sword or two.
This is very true.
And that creature.
But it makes a difference having you out there rather than in here.
It's probably obvious to Jakoto that. So it's just saying, probably obvious to Jakoto that Bernia's lack of fear in her is caused by that creature. She's very much trying to avoid spiraling at the moment.
Mazdak, what's the
Oh,
What's
yeah,
the word?
I
What
did
is-
cast Identify
Oh,
on the,
right.
on the key, part of the key.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have a name for it, but your sort of arcane scanning of it shows you this immense amount of particularly divine power that has sort of seeped into this thing. It's like a normal like amulet that a divine caster would wear to channel their power, and those generally kind of attune themselves to a person, and they do sort of soak up this divine energy over time, which is kind of what helps them to cast higher level spells. It takes time for that energy to build up to be able to do it. And this thing, despite you not physically feeling it like Thaddeus did, is just absolutely like neutron star dense of divine power.
Could you imagine if we still had a cleric of Vastra in the party?
Oh,
I may have written this a little differently.
I take it you say that, Mazda.
yeah, I would just say it's a powerful divine energy to enable clerics, paladins, etc. of gods to cast with greater power. It's pretty standard, I understand. You have one yourself. But this is made more powerful by the amount of time, I would imagine, that it's been with Jakoto.
Yes.
Just to be clear, no one should try to use that as a spellcasting thing.
No, absolutely not.
It would kill them.
Yes.
It is.
Which I
It
think
has so much power.
is probably why we shouldn't leave it in the hands of anybody that gets power from a divine sense, a divine origin.
I hold
Yes.
on to my own holy symbol. I
With
have no need of another.
with that as well, then I just wanted to make sure that if anybody else, for whatever reason, may be looking for one of these, that they can't get hold of it too. And I will then cast non-detection on it.
How long does that last?
8 hours. So for the duration, you hide a target that you touch from divination magic. The target can be a willing creature or a place or an object no larger than 10 feet in any dimension. The target can't be targeted by any divination magic or perceived through any magical scrying senses.
So while they're fanning about with this, Carl will just pull out the pieces of Amarius's ring and just consider them in the lava light.
Do you know what? I was just thinking Imarius's pocket dimension would be a great place to hide something like that you don't want to be found.
Indeed.
It would.
It would.
But then it is Amarius's
And-
pocket dimension.
Amarius does not worship a god, so technically neutral
It would
as
be
well.
perfect if we actually trusted him.
So I've gone on the basis that there would be my brain has logically gone that Vastra would not know that I have done this because it doesn't take away the power or anything. It just hides the actual amulet which is holding the power. So if anyone were to be looking for that they wouldn't be able to find it essentially.
Fair enough.
Here's hoping anyway.
Cool. So you're going to do that every day, are you?
I think it's the best.
Or
Like
every 8
Thaddeus will be like,
hours.
Thaddeus will be like, I think it's actually, for the time being, the best to keep something very powerful. Just a little bit more of a secret.
If anybody was looking for it, they would assume it would be around my neck, and nobody comes here looking for me to try to steal that.
Indeed, but just in case, it's just an extra form of protection. Now it's not with you, Jakoto.
It is yours now to do with as you wish.
I'll just pop it back in my pocket. Actually,
And
I
zip it up
have
and button it up.
I have a bag of holding.
Yeah.
I'll just drop it in there.
So everybody else would see Kral crouch down near the edge of the lava, just with his 2 pieces of the ring, one in either hand.
Do I see this?
Yep.
I'll go over. What are you doing?
Trying to make a decision.
You could give that to me.
That's never gonna happen.
It is mine.
Not anymore, according to you. And I'm going to drop the 2 pieces in the lava.
Okay.
Oh fuck.
The volcano explodes.
Everybody dies.
Kral drops the 2 pieces of the broken ring in the lava, and it hits the top and then sinks. Very familiar to anyone that's seen it. Whatever that thing's called.
Yeah.
And as it goes, melts in, nothing happens immediately that you know of.
But Imaria
That's next
seems a
season's.
little upset.
And
Upset or fearful?
Carl will just turn, chuckle, and pat him on the back as he walks away.
I'll just be staring at where the ring went in.
Marius's ring is now very hot. Sorry, someone had to
Yeah.
say it. We were all thinking it.
Cute Johnny Cash.
The
I would
Vindaloo
praying
whispers.
for that burning hole. Running ring.
I'll just be listening out for anything.
So, yes, thank you so much, Dakota. The knowledge and information is, well, me and Mazdak both think it's very helpful and
Indeed.
great. But yes, I think it's, for the time being, unless anyone's got any better suggestions, Kantisha time?
Yes, I think we also need to talk to Seti,
Yes.
just in case he has anything in his restricted section in his library.
I'm actually looking so forward to speaking with an ancient dragon.
He's very
Would
nice.
suggest-
Yes,
would-
and he is nice. I've met him a few times.
It's good to sit on as well.
I don't know if there will be anything, but I can speak to my father about checking the books in Onenia for any information.
Of
we might
course,
be able to
all,
find.
all avenues of inquiry must be kept open. So
I
we
would
can find out
suggest
the most amount of information.
with Jakoto's permission that we stay in the city for today, rest, and then we make our way back down the mountain tomorrow.
Be a long
course.
journey.
And you know, we did have a fight with an immortal.
And you were strong enough, lucky enough to survive.
Yes.
We
Well.
were strong enough to survive longer than I thought we were going to.
I enjoy you 3. You have a lot to learn, but when you work together, you are very.
It may be a tiny amount compared to you, but I have been fighting for all of my life.
I have been fighting for most people's lives combined.
Well, perhaps if we'd lived as long as you had, we would have similar skills.
Perhaps so.
Well, I was a weapons maker turned adventurer, so the fact that I didn't die, I'm going to take that as a win.
Oh, absolutely. I'm surprised I wasn't targeted immediately for my obvious lack of muscle.
Yes. I do not, despite what I showed at the end, I do not go after the weak. You big turtle man. I went after you at one point because you had hit me with a very uncomfortable spell.
Well,
Oh, God. This is just not fair. This is not fair on Ash. Every time.
I'm just going to stay silent here for the rest of this. It's just.
That's what happens when you throw my ring in the lava.
It is.
Well,
yeah.
you brought this on yourself. You
You've
brought this
awakened.
on yourself.
You've woken the god of poor connections.
Yeah.
But yeah, the general gist of that was just sort of he's learning how to support his allies with his magic, and he understands why she went after him.
Yes. You showed good strength. It is why I also targeted you a lot, looking at Sasha.
I'll take that as a compliment.
Yes, so you should. You take it very well.
Thank you.
I'm not sure Sasha's ego needs to get any bigger.
Well, she's lucky I didn't chop off a limb. But, anyway.
Found myself quite surprised by your ability to throw my strength back in my face.
Yes. Those... That is not something I enjoy doing. I don't do it by choice, by the way. It is just a remnant of Vastral's power that comes from me. It's part of his protection of me, and when I get hit by a particularly skillful strike, I don't like doing it, but it's useful.
I apologize if you find any flowers growing through your fur. It tends to happen after I do that.
Just plonks it in the lava. So,
Volcano explodes. All die.
I mean, my first instinct was that she was going to eat it, so.
So, you are free to go out into the city, spend the night as was.
No.
Spend the night.
Spend the night.
That's a bit like me, long pause.
Oh dear.
Inspiration point for DM.
Wasn't me that time, so you can't blame me.
Yes, you are free to spend the night. I will make an announcement that I will be leaving the mountain and putting Voriel in charge. He's been my second in charge for a long time. He deserves to be the leader of his own people. And you can leave when you want.
Thank you. That is.
Again, thank you.
I suspect the giants will be quite happy that they are able to pursue their artisanal craft once more.
I suspect that I will make the announcement, and they will be quiet, and then I will leave, and then they will celebrate.
Indeed.
I'm sure some appreciate the strong leadership you've held whilst you've been here, but I think it's time for a change.
So, and she just starts walking towards the door. Time to announce my retirement.
I think it's time for all of us to go and get a drink somewhere.
Yes.
Beer with a giant-sized beer.
So she just pushes the doors, or one then two sets of doors, and straight out into the streets of Gredeverg. Actually, I do have pop that
Oh
up.
God, is there a map?
Yeah, it probably doesn't.
It doesn't mean there's about to be riots breaking out in the streets or anything. That we have to fight
No,
our way through.
it's just a visual of the city rather than a
Ah,
battle map.
We've got two.
Oh, I think.
Ah,
Oh,
cool.
So the center of the city is sort of built in rings because that's how they dug it out originally. And the very center of that is that lava stream.
it's a very insensitive way to describe it with Amaro still in the group.
Cool. And where are we at the moment?
You are the bottom left, I suppose, southwest.
Oh,
There's
okay.
a sort of T-shaped building with a dome.
Yeah.
That's where you are currently.
And where is the Inn of Slagan Hammer?
The Hammered Slag.
Slag.
That's oh yeah, it is. That's the inn over there. If you can see my cursor.
Okay.
Okay. And where would the entrance be?
To the city.
Yeah.
You came in from the west.
Okay. Okay, got you. Cool. Okay. Nice. I like it.
Nice. Good. Good city map. Like it.
I love spending 5 minutes on generating it on
On a map.
It's a cool little website though, that one.
Yeah.
I prefer to spend too many hours like painstakingly making them just for Incarnate to release a jungle pack after I've made the map.
Yeah. I used to make all my own maps, but it's such a time sink. It's just not worth it. So there you go. Here's one I generated earlier.
Cool.
I did have to edit it a little bit to put the lava fountain in the middle. So appreciate that time. But yes, so Jakoto comes out, walks left and right, and sort of weaves through the city. Any giants that are about the city sort of stop and just stand still as she walks, is sort of mostly out of respect, but you can tell on a couple there's a bit of fear there. And she walks over to a building off the center, and comes out with this enormous giant who she introduces to you as Voriel. She says, Voriel, I will be... She doesn't put her hand on his shoulder because, she's waist-high.
She can...
She might be able to reach
arms.
X. Just sort of gives him a tap on the hips or something. Voriel.
Slap on the ass.
And then he calls her darling, and it's all fine. I will be making an announcement. I would like you to organize the people. And he sort of, yes, Chief. And he wanders off. He says, so, over that way, sort of pointing into this area. That is the Artisan Square. So if you want to visit any of the smiths, the smithies have been powered down and running on sort of low, ticking over for a while. So I don't think they have all the best things, but they might have some things that in the storeroom or something that you might like.
Is there a library?
There is a bookshelf.
Wow. Okay.
There aren't many meet us here.
Okay.
So if you want, there are places to eat. You can go to what you want while Voriel organizes a town meeting.
Cool.
Thank you.
Do you? I'm assuming that obviously currency is gold here still.
Yes, for ease.
But yeah,
Yeah, I won't be making up units of temperature measurement or things. The new monetary
the
systems.
giants use electrum.
Could I go to the Bureau de Change?
No, sorry. Can you, in a measurement we know, how many Mazdaks would that be?
How much is Mazdak worth?
Well, there you go. I think that varies from character to
Yeah.
character.
Carl's making a big.
But yeah, it depends who you ask.
Yeah. If you are Salviel, about 2 copper at best.
You ask Mazdak?
Oh, well,
A library.
Platinum.
as much as the next book costs.
Can't put a price on knowledge.
Quite. You can put a price on
Well, you
books.
can. They sell them in bookshops.
Yeah, Carl's making a beeline for the artisanal quarter because he's
Yeah.
like,
Go to the artisanal quarter, have a bit of a
Have-
peruse, as it
Have a
were.
mooch round the shops.
Chikoto comes over with you and sort of makes a little announcement to anyone who's there. There's not that many people. It's sort of 5 or 6 people working away in different parts of it. She says, these are some outsiders who have popped by to see me. If you could treat them with some respect and anything that you have that you don't need, I mean small things that would fit them, feel free to give them away. And she gets a history from a few people.
Nice.
So,
Mazdak has the sinking feeling that A, there's going to be nothing here for him, and B, it's a bookshelf.
Okay, but the thing is, Mazdak is very small and these are giants. It could still be a lot of books.
This is very true.
If
just
this,
one Mazdak-sized book.
is this kind of like a mini shopping without actually buying stuff, like part of it?
Feels like it.
Yeah, sort of.
So I think Thaddeus would also look a little bit disappointed with there just being a bookshelf as well, but potentially would like to find something which he could use as a quarterstaff again, because he doesn't have his one, and this is now canon because I've just made it up. His one got broken by the giants who captured him.
Fair enough. Okay.
Are you sure you didn't tie some bedrolls to the end of it and try to shimmy down a well?
Classic.
Wrong cleric. Wrong cleric.
Yeah, but who's to say that won't happen again?
If we come across a magical well, and we need to get down it, who knows?
Well, who knows?
Mm. So a smallish giant sort of comes over to you. And says, hello. The chief. Are you friends with the chief?
we are.
In a manner of speaking, yes.
To an
Right.
extent.
So we haven't actually produced many new things for a while. But we do. She did say we should try and give you some stuff. If you want to come with me, I'll see what we've got in the storeroom.
Anything you have would be most appreciated.
would be
Yeah, it's
an
come with
honor
me.
to see Fire Giant craft.
There's a couple of people. There is a lava stream that runs through this section. It sort of goes under the rock. There was a little bridge that came over it earlier. So this small stream runs through the whole town.
I see a little ring floating along the top.
It's managed to knit itself back together.
Yeah, I imagine Salvia, Bernier, and Sasha in particular look like they've been tumble dried in the lava.
Yes, come with me. And she sort of wanders through, opens up these sort of rickety old doors. There's a lot of stuff here that needs melting down, but I'll see what we can find. And she sort of starts pulling boxes out and looking in and going, oh, I know, and then turns around and wanders over, and there's like a barrel, and she pulls some things out. Oh, swords. These are small people swords. And just sort of lifts this barrel and pops it in front of you. If there's anything in there that you want, you can have those.
Being the weaponsmith, would I be able to just examine what's there and get an idea what would be useful for these guys?
Yeah, if you want to sort of just reach in and pick one up, and immediately the gleam on this blade is immediate. They've been sat here for a long time, but they haven't deteriorated in any way.
Yeah.
But you can certainly tell that the 4 swords in here are all magical.
Yeah. So I'm going to sort of lift them out.
Are they all great swords?
Yeah. We'll say they're all great swords.
Giant-sized daggers.
Yeah.
Mazdak takes one.
There's-
Falls over immediately.
Probably falls over with the weight.
Yeah.
And
There's 3 great swords in there and 1 fantastic one.
you'll just see sort of Kral pull this. Like Mazdak and a couple of others would recognise this
Very good, Eddie.
as like a piece of like lacquered leather, and he'll sort of just roll it out across the top of one of the anvils and just reverently put these swords down. And this is quite out of character for what the rest of them have seen so far, but Kral is genuinely sort of impressed and a little bit turned on by these swords.
For
Knocking out your shelf.
For another note, I've been sat for a while. It reminded me of the inn name. I was like, Hammered Slag. Isn't there someone in my backstory whose last name is Slaghammer? And I went and checked, and
There is.
it is. It is.
Well, I can tell they're all magical, but I'd need Mazdak to identify each one to tell you what they did.
I'll quite happily sit there and identify each one.
I'll cut the time in half and help him.
It would take a
I was
lot.
thinking, you can't give advantage on it, and I just thought, no, you're just going to do the other half. Just do 2 each.
I am quite attached to my sword, so it would take something of a special. But Salviel should.
Bernier,
first
I
name.
mean this with the greatest respect, but if you get the chance to take a Fire Giant made greatsword, you don't question it, you just take it and say thank you.
I understand your reverence. My old friend would speak of interest in the Fire Giant craft as well.
But maybe you could have 2 and switch between the 2.
Hmm.
But we'll
I'll
see.
definitely be keeping mine for remembrance.
The giant wanders over as well and just sort of helps go. Oh, those 3 are sort of save you sometimes some basic, just standard enchantment stuff. Very good ones, but just enchantments. This one on the end, and she picks it up, and it looks like a dagger in her hand, and she just mutters a word in giant, and it bursts into flames.
Bang!
This one's cool, and then just deactivates it and pops it down.
Interesting. What was that word you used to ignite?
It was insert giant word here.
Salvia, is your weapon enchanted in any way?
I think she had a
It is-
+1.
A +1 great sword that we recovered before we arrived in the city.
If it's okay with you two, I would maybe give her the new one.
I value the defensive capabilities of mine.
And mine takes a portion of my enemy's strength and gives it back to me.
Oh, it would make sense.
I would also say that the Sword of Flame would be suited to Salviel.
I would say I would agree.
So just to be clear, there's a great sword, a flame tongue great sword,
I assume that
Flame
one.
tongue's fun.
and the other 3 are +2s.
Okay.
I'll take a +2 for sparesies. Maybe I can get that one enchanted instead.
I'll have to talk to my turtle friend.
While you've gone back to looking at those, she's wandered off to go and just dig through some other things. Oh, maybe puts that in a pocket. She sort of picks up some sort of amulet, and then she goes, and then just disappears off again, and you just hear stuff being thrown out. She comes back with a staff. Have you got any caster friends?
I am.
Okay. Well, here's an amulet. I'm not sure if that's good to anyone.
Okay.
It's
Identify.
for religious folk. Tend to like that. And this is a fire staff. We had an order for this, but the tiefling never turned up. I'm not sure what happened to him. You do. But yeah, it was ordered and paid for and never picked up, but that was a long time ago. So, if anyone wants that.
Okay. I will pass the amulet across to Thaddeus.
Yeah, I'll literally cast Identify.
That's an amulet of the devout.
And maybe if this is a staff of fire, Mazdak, you can make use of it.
Well, myself or Amarius, certainly.
Does Amarius really need any more fire?
You're talking about me like I'm not here.
I was inviting
Do
you
you
into the
really
conversation.
need any more fire?
Mine's innate, as you keep going on about.
Okay. I will identify.
I think
the staff.
Mazdak needs all the help he can get.
Ooh, didn't need a staff of fire for that burn.
So, question for the amulet. I take it that would just replace my holy amulet.
Yeah.
Like my holy symbol. Sorry.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
What's the
I've
staff?
never even heard of that, and that is fucking amazing.
That is the amulet that Ilas routinely surprises me with because
Oh, is
it's
it?
3 of his
Yeah, because it
things off of that.
gives you an additional charge if you channel
That's good, channel
divinity.
divinity. Yeah.
What's the staff?
Fire stuff.
Stuff of fire, yeah.
Stuff for
Just
fire.
fire
Fire
stuff.
stuff. I've written it
Wizard
down.
fire
It's
stuff.
generally not advised to set your stuff on fire. They don't like that very much, and it's
Let's have a look
probably
at that.
infringing on their workers' rights and stuff.
What else are they going to stay warm? Or keep the CEO warm?
Yeah.
I mean,
Um,
I'd quite like that staff. Dan, do you?
What's it called again, sorry?
Staff of Fire.
if the giants will accept it, I'll give them my old greatsword and the +1 greatsword I was using briefly for materials. Because I don't need 3 greatswords.
You don't have to, but thank you. We can melt those down and reuse them.
I'd be glad, since they're of no further use to me. And it is quite generous of you to give me this one.
Well, it was that they've been lying around. We don't sell to little folk like you guys, so you might as well make use of them. And the chief ordered, so.
We appreciate everything you've given. Thank you.
We certainly do.
Mazdak, can you just make a perception check for me, please?
Sure. Perception.
Actually, Thaddeus as well,
16.
because you mentioned it's
Make a what? A perception?
perception, yeah.
That's a very nice stuff.
It is a very nice stuff.
Oh, that's really good. 24.
24, okay.
I only got 16.
As some things have just sort of been pulled out, something fell on the floor at one point, and you barely noticed because she was throwing loads of stuff. But Thaddeus, you see the telltale signs of the spine of a book.
What, as if it was out, like within the stuff she was moving about? So, assuming that it's not like a private book or anything. I take it it was like with all of the.
It was with all the junk that little people.
Yeah, I go over to it and pick the book up.
Okay, you pick up the book.
I did that, and then I thought, fucking hell, he's going to say, and you instantly die.
and the giant says, "What are you doing? I was being so nice to you. Stealing my things." Yeah, you pick up the book and get the tab closed. Let me try and wait. See if it's got a description. What? Why would you do that to me?
I hope it does. I don't want you to say there's a spine of a book and then it's just a book of nothing.
Yeah.
It's just a book. I can't find it now that I've closed the tab. That should be it. Right. No, it doesn't even give you a description of it, but there's a picture. Can I stick that in? Yeah. Anyway, you see this book, and it's a smallish book. And there's some. What languages do you understand?
I understand Celestial, Common, Draconic, and Goblin.
Celestial, Common, Draconic, and Goblin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Damn,
Well, it
I'm
isn't-
going to know when I swear in Celestial now.
It is in a language you don't recognise.
Surely I have a spell for that, don't I? What I can.
I certainly do.
They probably don't have the spell slots or anything. I don't think I do actually. Oh, would I know what language it is? Like, as in, I don't recognise it, but obviously, a learned
Oh, yeah.
person.
Probably, yeah. It's a pretty common language. It looks like Elvish to you.
Okay.
I can read Elvish.
Same.
I don't speak Elvish, Mazdak, but maybe you might be able to read this and.
I'll look over it.
Yeah.
Isn't it Elvish?
As you're passing it over, the giant comes back. Oh, some guy left that here years ago. It's some I don't know, like fitness book or something for you small folk. That's not because she says that. You think that's a bit weird. I'm not sure I want to read that. And you look down and translate the Elvish into Manual of Bodily Health.
Manual of bodily health.
And it indeed seems to be talking about
Fitness.
fitness and things.
Got the elven equivalent of Men's Health magazine.
Yeah.
How to improve your constitution.
I'm a little bit disappointed. I thought it was going to be something full of a little bit of gleaming information or something.
Haven't you had enough information today?
Yeah, and
Never.
Goodies now.
Kral's
those
gonna
books are really fucking good.
Yeah.
They're well worth getting. Why do you think I've given 2 of them to the pirate campaign?
while they're fapping about with the book, Kral's gonna speak to the smith lady. Show her the plans that he's got for the crossbow, and just ask if there's a work area where he could, begin work on
Because
it.
they
Oh, yes. We may need to get you a box to stand on. But yes, we can do that. Come through here.
And Kral will basically disappear, and then you'll just see, well, the giant lady will just basically see him pull these 2 huge rolls of tools out and roll them out.
Very nice. You do a bit of work.
Well, where I come from, I used to build arcane cannons and other weapons with I class him as my father. He took me in when I was small. I was a dwarven fella.
Dwarves. They're so cute.
I don't know whether you've done any trade with the Grimbles, but
No, sorry.
yeah, well, we used to build things, and he taught me everything I know. So I do a bit of this and that.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, the dwarves are very very good at that, and they're almost like they're tiny little fire giants. So I'm quite fond of them.
Yeah, I mean, they're pretty industrious.
They like to live in mountains, and they like their armor and smithing, and they've got big beards. What's not to love? They're also like pocket-sized.
The voice you're doing, your Callie is showing, by the way.
I never thought of it like that, but now you bring it to my attention. I would say that's pretty accurate.
Some of them do have fiery tempers as well.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna say some of these divots on this shell didn't come from nowhere else.
I kind of just take a moment to admire my arm.
And then
Fine dwarven work.
Yeah, Kral's coat had to come off. The sort of rawhide apron goes on, and then you'll just basically see him roll the sleeves of his shirt up and just start sort of hammering away at the mechanisms that he needs to put into this crossbow.
Fair enough. Is anyone else that's in there sort of having a look around or doing anything in particular?
Probably.
The book. Sorry, just go back to the
You
book.
go.
What is the book of?
It's
If
the-
I cast identify on it.
It's a manual of bodily
Manual
health.
of bodily health. If you look it up in D&D Beyond.
Oh, it's actually a. Oh,
It's
sorry.
yes, it's a thing.
It is a magic item, Billy.
Magic item, but I wasn't just fucking with you.
Do you
I
remember
just
the
honestly-
intelligence-
No,
the
yeah, no.
intelligence
When you said
book I
that,
gave Phineas.
I thought you were just fucking with us as
and
well.
Kirkin.
yeah, thanks,
Yeah.
Dan.
It was intelligence and wisdom, I think. I
Yes.
gave you guys.
Yeah.
And this one improves constitution.
So we should give that
pretty
to
much.
Sasha.
Yeah. I think so.
She does know how to read. Don't worry.
Are you sure
Can you
about
read
that?
Elvish,
Can you
though?
read Elvish?
Sylvan.
Ah.
Hmm.
Mhm.
So I would have to translate it for you.
Oh, God.
Which would mean Mazdak
Mazdak
reading it,
story
and then
to
Mazdak getting a.
Spending a lot of time with Mazdak.
Yeah, it's 48
Depends on-
hours.
Yeah.
That's gonna
Reading.
that's gonna be more of a detriment to Sasha's health than reading the book would
No,
benefit
no,
her.
you
Yeah,
get the constitution. Use just your wisdom or intelligence would go down.
Yeah, but she
Yeah.
she spends 48
Patience
hours
goes
with Mazdak reading the book, and then Mazdak gains the benefit at the end of it, and then he's just like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah. Because he was the one who actually read it.
Yeah.
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 and then he's just like, oh,
I'm
oh,
really glad I rolled high on my perception for you, Mazdak, for that.
I don't
And
know.
then his hit points would go up by almost like
I-
half again.
I genuinely don't want it.
Really?
No, why would I want it? Listen, Mazdak has a flaw. He's very,
anyone else able to speak Elvish in this?
very
party?
delicate.
fuck no. I
You
can
can.
Yeah, it's
The
between me and
half-elves.
Sabiel.
I can do.
DM's sitting there
Compact
seething now
languages.
because of the Constitution score upgrade. It's like, no! I
Well,
want
I mean,
to
admittedly, I did have Mazdak in mind, but it is something that can be used by anyone if he
Yeah.
doesn't want it.
Well, surely if it was to go to someone who wanted it and they couldn't speak, you can cast. Can you cast tongues on someone, Mazdak?
Yeah, that's
Or is
only
it just
about
yourself?
Speaking.
I mean, honestly, me saying it was in Elvish was to direct it towards Mazdak, but
Gotcha.
we can call it common if anyone else wants to use it. I'm not gonna.
or the book changes to that person's native language.
It's a magic book; it can do that.
Okay.
It's a magical book.
So, the staff.
I mean, it would
Dan.
boost my hit points and my armor class. I'm just saying.
The staff is very good.
Yes.
But you're a
Do you want it,
barbarian, and
or
you
am I
take less
having it?
damage than everybody anyway.
Yeah.
Even tankier.
But yes, was anyone else doing anything, looking around while
I'm
Kral is?
probably kind of just wandering about, looking at the fine crafts, just kind of admiring them and thinking how much Danvir would love to see this stuff.
Just make a investigation check while you're looking around.
I'm so good at those.
Yeah, I'd be trying to engage the giant smith lady in conversation and seeing if she wanted to give any input.
Oh, she'll happily be chatting away.
Yggdrasil. Oh, that's cocked. Oh, it's cocked right on the 20 and all.
Always happens.
Oh, that's respectable. That's pretty good for Bernia. Plus 0 for 18.
18.
Nice.
As you are just sort of scanning along the shelves it's quite dimly lit in here. But there's a little flash of something as it catches the light.
Which I'd like to imagine Meglina kind of notices it for me.
And you pick one up, and it seems to be a bracer of some sort. There's a little bit of like metal work on it, but it's mostly leather, quite light. It fits like over the hand as well, and in the center is just a very small gem. And you have a little look around and find a matching one that goes on the other arm.
Infinity Gauntlet. Infinity Gauntlet.
Did we get the name of the giant smith?
Transac. I don't know. Give me a better, worse name. No, Brandor.
Sounds like a transformer.
I don't know why, but my brain just came up with
Giants
the name
in disguise.
Drummond.
Ember, spelt EMBA.
There you go. She's called Ember.
No.
Her friends call her Transac.
This is what happened when I had to make up like 3 names for different units of measurement. It just came out as some sort of Rick and Morty-esque Bardock.
Yeah. Ember, what are these? They seem interesting.
Oh, that was an experiment that somebody asked us to look at a while ago. It's we had somebody just a very basic caster that wanted to get more out of their casting, and that they asked us to look into making some of this. It was never completely successful. They work sometimes, but sometimes they don't. The two are linked, and the two gems in the palms are connected. And when you cast, sometimes the same cast happens out of the second hand as well.
I mean, that definitely
Yeah.
sounds like a mad Imarius thing.
It might interest some of our friends if you're okay with parting with this one.
Like I said, they're not. It's like a 50-50 on whether the first one always works, but the second one is a bit iffy. But your friend here seems pretty competent. Maybe he could fix them.
I've never thought about this, but a healer, what could actually do 2 heals in a round, potentially?
If you let me have a look, I'll see if I can figure it out.
Just for clarity, it only works on cantrips.
Ah,
So unless
Very
you do
clever very, very clever distinction.
yeah.
yeah, unless you're doing spare the dying on 2 people.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
But still, a 50% of doubling an Eldritch Blast is pretty freaking cool.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome, to be fair.
And maybe Kral can fix it up.
Yeah. Well,
Perhaps,
So,
have
Dad,
a
we have to
technical
work out
course.
who gets the staff and who gets the gloves.
Oh, I could just have both.
You could have both, yeah.
I'm claiming the gloves for the time being, because I want to look at them.
I mean, the gloves have an element of
I'll-
chance,
Giving them to Kral.
They do.
which I kind of like.
Yeah. Thought you might.
Imarius, gambling? No.
I suppose it's a very good distinction, DM, to say that it's only cantrips, because could you imagine fireball?
I mean, yeah. I mean, there are items that allow you to twin spells, but twin only works on single target spells and stuff. So this is just its own little limitation to it.
Yeah.
But it's
Well, I will be claiming those for the time being, and then I'll see if I can work out what the issue is. But it might take some time.
So,
right. Well, I think the chief's about to make their announcement, so
should-
I best get to that.
yes, we'll come along. I
We
think.
should go as well.
Just want to have a quick word with Imarius first about this stuff.
Go ahead.
So, Imarius, this is Staff of Fire, which is
I know.
interesting.
Have you read all about it?
I have. It's very interesting. You can do most of this stuff already, can't you?
Yes, but I could do it so much better and so much more stylishly. With more
Right.
style.
So you're saying you don't want this stuff?
Oh, no, I didn't say that at all.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it looks a little big for someone of your stature.
Yes, but it would be handy to lean on.
Is that all you're going to use it for?
Well, no. Obviously,
Leaning?
I'm going to use its full capabilities by casting fire.
You do know it's not a book, right?
Not everything magical is a book, although all books are magical.
You shock me.
Well, don't see how that's shocking. Or I believe all books are magical.
He's not wrong.
Are you saying you want this to lean on?
I want this to lean on and to utilise.
Well, as a lesser spellcaster, I am willing to help you learn how to use this to the best ability, and one day you'll be as good as me.
I accept your admission that you are a lesser spellcaster, and I
Thank
will
you
take
for
the
picking it
staff.
up.
You take this crux and you lean on it. Because you can't, instead of your own ability, you lean on this staff.
Absolutely.
And every time you use it, think of me, who doesn't need any of this paraphernalia.
Okay.
Okay. And as soon as the Bastak looks away from him, he'll be like, shit.
Okay.
After Marius saying that, just a clarification question. Do we see, and sorry for everyone's thoughts after I say this, but do we see Marius's new ring? Or is that invisible? Because last time we were talking about it and everything.
Present anus.
Marius doesn't seem to have a new ring.
Nope.
Okay.
He's just got mushrooms growing around his asshole.
Mushroom down there.
Well, it's dark and moist. Perfect conditions.
Marius is such a fun guy now.
I will hand the manual of bodily health to Sasha.
What's this?
This seems more like your kind of thing than mine. It's all about physical exercise, and there you go.
Fair enough. I'll have a look. Thank you.
You're welcome. DM's like, oh God, why didn't the wizard take the Constitution upgrade?
Wizard doesn't take it because he's got a crawl.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so while you guys are sorting out who gets what, Jakoto begins to make an announcement that after 50 years or so down here as chief, that she's decided to relinquish power and hand it over to the second in charge, Justice Devorial, who does like the Oscar winner shocked face. And everyone else that the camera zooms to pretends to do that. Doesn't pretend they do it. Yes, and then there's a bit of a handover, and there's murmurs that roll through the. In fact, you don't understand any of this; it's all in Giantish. But yeah, there are murmurs that roll through the crowd, and like there's a bit of a buzz, and then there's like some shushing and whatnot. And Jakoto just walks off the platform she was stood on, and just sort of goes through the crowd as these enormous giants have to sort of get back out of her way, and she just walks off, and she's just gone.
I'm a little bit disappointed. I was thinking to choose between Goblin and Giantish, and I chose Goblin. I'm like, damn, I could have understood everything.
And then, Voriel steps up and sort of does a bit of a, well, didn't see that come in. And then says some words and thanks you specifically, sort of saying for whatever you did, being very confused of like, you just sort of turn up, and then she walks off, and yeah, then sort of goes into promising that they'll get the forges firing again, and start communications with the rest of the company again, country again, and then a big piss up starts.
Right, yeah, we better get to the hammered slag so we can.
Did we all get something there?
I don't think Kral did, and I only realised that once.
I think Kral has in his happy place.
So
I've got a boner.
I've got the I've got the gloves for the time being to work out why they don't do what they should do, and then I'll probably hand them off to somebody
My
else. Yeah, so I'll probably hand them off to
So, does Salvi
Mario
get
when he
something?
adequately grovels.
Oh yeah.
Savio got flame tongue.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Then you
So-
got an alternate sword and the Crisis of Faith. It's all good.
So yes,
Speaking of which, I do have something I want to do, but it's going to require privacy, and I would suggest doing it at the next session because this is a relatively happy note, and don't want to bring
Okay.
things down.
fair enough. Fair enough. Okay, so yes, the entire town sort of just erupts into this euphoria of like, and you sort of talk to people, and they weren't necessarily oppressed. They just wanted to be working on things and getting the appreciation for it from the outside world. But you guys can head back to the Hammered Slag. You're given a proper room this time.
And a stepladder onto the bed.
Yeah, there's one enormous bed on there that a few of you can probably curl up, but there's plenty of spare bedding that's slung into the room for you. And yeah. If you want to go and join the festivities, you can, but we'll skip through all that. We'll call it a long rest. And you can get up and ready to head back off in the morning.
Cool.
And that's where we'll finish for tonight.
Right.
Nice.
Wow, that was awesome. Have we
What
got
were
new
the
toys?
gloves called?
Yeah, a lot of knowledge dropping and new toys dropping as well.
Yeah.
Oh yes.
That is, I've never even, I don't tend to look at items or stuff like that, and that is fucking an amazing amulet for like Channel Divinity.
Yeah. To be fair, it gets better and better as you if you can improve it. But it is just an immense amulet to have as a cleric. It really is.
Does it, if I do that, does it automatically put the +1 on my spell attacks?
Yes.
Yeah, it
Oh
should
my
do.
fucking god, it does.
If
My-
if you attune to it, it automatically adds the +1.
Oh wow, that is amazing.
And it also adds +1 to your spell save DC as well.
Yeah, that was what I was just checking out. Yeah, it does. Fucking hell, nice.
Martin, what were those gloves called? Just because I've got possession of them.
Where did I write that down? Illusionists bracers.
Sound.
Cool. Right. Well, thank you, Martin. That was really good fun. Well done, everyone, for playing. It was really good. Some interesting theological discussions coming up, I can tell. It's going to be quite interesting to go to the realm of the gods and have a bit of a chat with them.
I still think there's a lot more about that we don't know.
Of course there is.
Yeah,
Like,
Mm.
it wouldn't be a let's go kill the gods campaign with
No.
2 paladins, a cleric, and a vaguely religious barbarian.
I mean,
because I didn't.
Emphasis on the vague.
You haven't told me how it started until you told Jakoto just then, so I didn't realise that it was a wizard or whoever it was, a mage, who had those pearls and it exploded. So
Ah, right.
Adius is now mulling over that, like internally, to go, well, yes.
indeed.
That
But
is-
we will continue this discussion off the stream. So we had a great time tonight. We hope you did too. If you did, fantastic. We love you. You're great. If you didn't, as ever, off you fuck. All right. Bye.